That's fucking crazy. All right, chat. This is about a mega church pastor and a breakdown or something. I don't know. These mega churches, these new mega church pastors are always so cringe to me, so
If I was to
thought
ask you what a
this
ministry
video would be
looked like,
kinda
you'd
cool.
probably say something like this, maybe like this, but you would never guess something like this. Today we're talking about Carl Lentz.
These new age pastors, bro. They're so swag and hip and fashionable.
Big de facto celebrity pastor. He baptized Kevin Durant in his bathtub. Best friends with Justin Bieber. Chris Pratt goes to his church. And for all the fame this guy has, recently he has lost it in a very embarrassing way.
The church now embroiled in scandal after its most famous figure, Pastor Carl Lentz, was let go last week.
And a lot of the stuff about the Hillsong Church where he used to work at
The Hillsong, I've heard about this, bro. It sounds familiar.
out of the woodworks.
Sexual abuse victims. Damn, why why there's so many accusations of sexual abuse, sexual assault in churches? Like, why so many? Like, every church has allegations. Like, why?
And a lot of the stuff about the Hillsong Church where he used to work at has come out of the woodworks. So we're going into that today and more. To understand Carl Lentz and his huge rise to fame, we need to take a look at how did he become friends with Justin Bieber. It's 2017. Justin Bieber's on tour. He's at a concert.
Justin
it's the
Bieber
last song in the show. He's dancing, he's singing, and Justin passes out. Falls flat on his face. The crowd goes silent.
Wait, really?
No one knows what's going on. But little did anyone know, Carl Lentz was in the crowd, and he felt compelled in his heart to do something about this. So he gets his hands, parts open the crowd like he's opening up the Red Sea. Carl gets on the stage, walks up to Justin, gets his holy water that he always carried with him, and just sprinkles it on Justin's face. Justin's eyes wake up, he gets up, finishes the song, everyone cheers on. It's an amazing moment in history. I wish I could have been there. And from that point on, Justin and Carl became inseparable. Justin was taking him on tour. He was taking him to all these interviews. They were shopping all the time. Justin Bieber even lived at Carl Lentz's house for a couple of months. Carl had so much pull with Justin that he convinced them to cancel his tour to focus on his relationship with God and further indoctrinate him more. And it was almost a little bit too much. It was this relationship that started from nothing that became everything all at once. He was seeking all this advice within Carl. Justin really looked up to him. And Carl was always asking him to introduce him to new people. So he got to meet Oprah. He got to go on all these TV shows. He got known as the pastor that was helping Justin Bieber.
This video about Zoned Out for Solid. It's about this mega church pastor who's, turns out to be evil. Like, he's so angry. He used Justin.
Millions of dollars.
That really happened?
Chris Pratt and Vanessa Hudgens to come to the church. They had so much money coming in that they had to make a VIP section in a church to have all the celebrities in the front, and everyone.
They had a VIP section at a church.
Everyone else that's regular, they go in the back. Forget about them. People are seeing this and they're a little bit disturbed because Carl's taking a lot of traits from Justin Bieber. Carl starts getting volunteers in the church, not paid workers, volunteers, and starts having them do the same things that Justin has his assistants do. So now, Carl has a personal dog walker that's a volunteer of the church. Carl has a private chef that's a volunteer. He has a nanny. He has a babysitter. He has a house cleaner, a chauffeur that all are volunteers for the church. And people aren't taking this too kindly. And Justin notices this relationship's getting a little too weird. It's around 2019, Justin breaks off the relationship completely clean because he's realizing that he's not.
Wait, what? He denounced it?
Justin breaks off the relationship completely clean.
Just as announced on church says he's not training to be a minister.
Because he's realizing that he's not getting a lot out of this, and this pastor is just milking him for his fame, taking his money, taking his connections, and Justin was getting used, and good for him, honestly. So he cut Carl out of his life, realizing what a parasite he was. So Carl's out, church is slowing down, because now it's COVID, and Carl's out walking his dog, and one day, he sees a woman.
Oh, it's insane.
And he falls in love with this woman. He walks up to her, they exchange numbers, they start going on a couple of dates. And within the first few dates, Reneen got some weird vibes from him. When she asked for his last name, he wouldn't even tell her. And then trying to ask what he does for work, he said, "Oh, I'm a sports agent, don't worry about it." But the details were so vague.
That's creepy. Why would he lie about that?
So Reneen hired a private investigator to look into who exactly was this guy. The private investigator.
That's fucked up, bro. If you gotta hire a private investigator to look into the guy you're talking to, you probably shouldn't be talking to him.
Later comes back and finds out that Carl is the pastor at the Hillsong Church that Reneen has been to before. But that's not even the worst part. She finds out that Carl is a married man of 17 years.
Damn.
and has 3 kids. At this point, you would think this would be a huge red flag. Hey, I'm fucking a pastor that's married with a wife and kids. That is a one-way ticket to hell.
Bruh.
That's what I would think, personally.
3
But she's not
kids.
weirded out by it, so she goes up to Carl, asks him, hey, what's up with this? I saw that you're married. I saw that you're a pastor. And he admits to it cleanly. And she asks him, are you upset in your marriage? Do you want to get out of it? Are you mad? And Carl just looks at her straight in the eyes and says, no, I just want to fuck.
Real. What the
So
fuck?
she continues to start seeing him. And she even said, this is her quote, that
This
I
is the biggest pastor ever, the most famous pastor, the biggest church.
looked at him as a clean slate where I can paint my own colors in it. I don't get to judge anyone. I would 100% judge a pastor that was married with 3 kids, that was having an affair with you. That's kind of a
Why?
big deal.
How could you
but
see that as like a potential partner? Someone who's doing that to a family of 17 years, 3 kids.
Ranin's fine with it. So
Very
Carl has an
wrong.
iPhone. And when you have an iPhone, you can connect it to your Mac and have all of your messages on there. So Carl's away.
Oh,
on a business
hell
trip,
no.
And the Mac was at his church. And his wife logs on and finds all of the text messages from his phone on the computer right there. And
Oh,
finds out about the
hell.
affair. And she's livid, rightfully so. Calls Carl, he flies home, they try to figure it out. So what they agree to is that they're not going to tell anyone about this. He's
Bro,
gonna
that's so embarrassing for wives in those positions. I mean, okay, for kids, if they have kids, it's way different. You don't want to embarrass the kids in front of the church, in front of the family, in front of everyone. You know, you embarrass the family. I get it. For kids, keep it low key. But at the same time, like, fuck.
break it off with Ranin. They're gonna go to couples therapy, and no one will know, and everything's gonna be fine. So they do that. Everything's kind of going fine.
Go to couples
but Carl
therapy.
can't get Ranin out of his head. He even called her his Middle Eastern unicorn. He loved this woman.
What the
Ranin
fuck?
even stated that he would come crawling back on his hands and knees, begging to be with her again. And then they would sleep together again, and they would
Ew.
break it up, and it was this very toxic cycle. And his wife
Her
knew about
pastor,
this the whole
though.
time. So it was for a couple of
Bam.
months this was going on. But it got to a tipping point with his wife. And his wife said, I'm going to call the head pastor and tell him what's going on. And Carl said, no, 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 no. And she's like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to fucking tell him. I'm going to fucking, no, please don't. Please. And I'm calling him. I'm calling him right now. And called him and let the head pastor know, my husband has been having an affair.
Their only
He's
wife.
been unfaithful to me. So the head pastor has a
The
secret
biggest
meeting,
pastor
not
ever.
with them, but with the head congregates. And they decide that they're going to get rid of Carl. He's too much of a liability, and they want to keep it
Damn.
clean. Because you can't be having a head pastor cheating on his wife when he's doing sermons about not cheating on your wife and being good to the Lord.
Damn, that's
So,
embarrassing.
November 3rd, they do it very publicly. They get rid of him. It's on Instagram.
Jesus.
And then Carl goes on his Instagram and posts up this whole thing about how he's going to make it better.
Why do those glasses look photoshopped onto his face? I know my face is covering, but let me show you real quick. Why do those look photoshopped on? I don't know.
With his wife and this whole dealio. But it was a picture with his wife and his kids.
Very
Like,
bad.
why are your kids in the photo when you're talking about cheating on your wife? That's
Real.
weird. That is so weird. But whatever. So then there was the
Gaslight,
paparazzi that was photographing
gatekeep.
Carl and his wife trying to get back together. They saw them going to couples therapy.
Damn.
Carl was at the beach doing his sun salutations, wearing his Dr. Dre beats, with his cornrows in his hair, with his shirt off, using his diary,
Damn.
writing his notes on how he's gonna get his life back together. And it seemed like maybe Carl would come back to the church. But then some lucky fellow on December 3rd leaked an audio clip from that meeting. And the big thing that came out was that Carl wasn't just fired for that affair. No, no, no. That
Oh,
was just
shit.
the tipping point
Yeah,
of the whole
bro.
situation.
That's only the top
The call
tip
revealed
of the
that Carl
iceberg.
was doing this for years and with many different women. And it was the
Oh,
narcissism, it was
shit.
the lying, it was all these things that the church had told no one. And this was just the one thing that was public where they were like, we gotta just cut it right there. So then now people knew, wow, the church is hiding all
Damn.
this
And they've been
stuff about
hiding the
Carl.
whole time,
I
all
wonder
the
what
other
else they're hiding.
pastors.
So Carl goes into like a rehab for pastoral burnout. I've never even heard of that, but
What the fuck?
I guess that's a real thing.
Oh my
Pastoral
God.
burnout.
Can
So they
you be a
start looking
pastor
into the
after
church
that?
and what else have they done wrong. So it comes to be that the founder of the church, his name is Brian Houston. His father is Frank Houston. Frank Houston is a pastor there. And in 2003, he confessed to molesting 9 boys in the ministry to his father.
What the fuck?
And you know what his father did? He took away his pastor hat, which was, I get, and did nothing about it. He didn't
Bro, there's so much fucked up shit that happens in churches, and they're like, oh, let's look at the police, let's go talk to the pastor. Bro, churches treat pastors like they're the fucking law, like they're the sheriff, bro. Sometimes they're like, let's let the pastor decide and handle this, and then like, let's keep this quiet, bro. You know what I mean? Like, I know so much shit happened in my church I grew up in that the pastor kept quiet and they kept hush hush. Let's not tell anyone. You know what I'm saying? You guys have any experiences like that? I remember there were some boys in the church who were like really close to the church, and their family was really tight, like elders, deacons, whatever. And their sons did some fucked up shit, and the church kept it quiet. I'd go into the story about what it's about, but it's really long and too off track. Yup. Do what? And they really should have been in some serious trouble for it.
He didn't go to the police. He didn't go to the authorities. Nothing. They just talked to the 9 victims.
Nope.
They paid him out $10K each and just called it a day. Disturbing.
Dang.
So when the Carl Lentz thing is coming out, those victims come around
So
again
angry.
and say, we never got paid out for that, which is fucked
And they
up.
didn't get their $10,000 they were promised.
So then here's what happened. So this is from one of the kids that was abused. What's happening with the payment I was promised? I agreed to
The
forgive.
church. It's the biggest church in the United States. It's kind of crazy. Like the biggest Baptist church in the United States is doing. It's like the one that everyone looks up to. All the celebrities go to. Everyone's like, that's kind of crazy. But like I said, you know, I don't know, dude. Like imagine the pastor, like, all right, I know you got molested by my son. This is a pastor speaking. I know you got molested by my son. We're not gonna go to the cops. We're gonna give you $10,000, and he's not gonna be a pastor for the time being. Imagine that's what they say. The pastor tells you. They're just gonna give you $10,000. Like, what the fuck?
Your father. Brian Houston, dealing with all of the fallout, says, yes, okay, I'll get the money to you. There's no problem, you know, but it is your fault that all of this happened. You tempted my father, a 50-year-old guy being tempted by a 7-year-old boy.
What?
Absolutely disturbing. But I do have to say,
That's
all this is
insane.
allegedly. Brian Houston has denied any of this happening. So that's all I have to say. And that's not all that happened at the Hillsong Church.
Crazy.
In 2015, the lead singer of the Hillsong Church group did a attempted rape against one of the students there. So what happened was the sexual assault was happening in the church, and when the girl tried to run out to get away, a
That's so
worker
wrong.
actually noticed she was running out and
Narrative.
chased her down, held open the door, and said, do not tell anyone that this happened. So then the girl goes to the head pastor, and they get the eyewitnesses to cooperate.
That's what I'm saying, bro. They always go to the head pastor in the church. Yeah, they always go to the head pastor. Bro, so much sex goes down in the church. We talk about Christian people love fucking.
Everything going on. And what do they do with the lead singer of the band that sexually assaulted a girl in church? That I'm not going to go into the details because it's quite graphic. Do they get rid of him? They do, but on a paid leave for 12 months. Paid.
Is
That's
it on it?
He came back, he was working there.
Yes.
So when the Carl Lentz thing came out, this girl went to the police and actually filed a court case, and they went through the whole thing. So the guy that
Wow.
was in the band, he ended up
Good.
getting 2 years probation. That's it for the whole thing. And then he
Yikes.
got kicked out of the church. But this is the stuff that the Hillsong Church was hiding, making sure no one knew. That's it. So you got the Hillsong burning down all because of Carl Lentz. Now what's going on with Carl nowadays? So currently, he's still living in LA. He's doing his thing. He's actually trying to get a Netflix deal for some kind of spiritual reality show. And
A spiritual reality show?
no one's taking his call back. No one wants to talk to him. No one wants to deal with him. So
Good.
I wish the best for him. Oh, and how could I forget? Tyler Perry. Yes, the Medea Tyler Perry gave him $100,000 to pay his rent for 6 months. Not a loan, a gift. If he wants to do
What?
that, go ahead for him, but I just think that's absolutely
That's
insane.
insane.
So,
Why would
why
Tyler
did
Perry
this
do
happen?
that?
Celebrity
The Netflix
pastors,
man.
that's why. Imagine being the man giving Justin Bieber advice that he's actually following through on. You've got to
That's
feel
crazy.
like a god at that point. Everyone's coming up to you. Everyone wants to know.
Honestly, bro, Justin Bieber's career is so sad. How like used he got and how much he probably missed out on.
What the answer
feel
is,
bad for
and
him.
you have them. That's
I
gotta
like
feel
Justin.
so good. And the culture behind that, where it's these guru types, it's almost like they're not even human
I
beings.
feel like
at
Justin his whole life, if you can look, he got used by what's it called? Ludacris, all those motherfuckers, just for his music.
this point. There's just these
Yeah.
superstars where everything is amazing about him, and that pressure that he had with hanging out with these huge celebrities, like, of course that's gonna happen.
Bro, what the
That
fuck?
pressure that he had with hanging out with these.
Why is a pastor to Justin Bieber, Haley Ball, and Nick Jonas and Selena Gomez, just to name a few? Like, you're flexing who you preach to. Like, isn't preaching to Justin Bieber the same as preaching to someone who's not famous? Like, what the fuck?
Huge celebrities, like, of course that's gonna happen. I think a lot of it's just fame and greed. But honestly, what do I know? I don't know the guy. He probably knows the story a lot more than I
Really,
do, right?
Rinty.
But I wish the best for him. I don't wish
Up
any
your
ill
word.
will. I hope he gets his life figured out. And honestly, I want to watch a spiritual reality show because that sounds sick. I would
Honestly,
totally watch that.
That'd be kind of
Carl,
crazy.
if you're watching this, those abs look nice. I'm gonna be honest. They
True.
look nice.
He is in good shape.
Subscribe.
True. I mean, bro was jacked. Ugh.
Is this